My name is Day Logan, and I'm the Serials Associate at the College of Wooster Libraries, and I have been employed with the college for 30 years and counting.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Project 150, 150 stories for the 150th anniversary of the College of Wooster. Today, we interview Day Logan, longtime employee of the college and daughter of well-known Professor Win Logan. The focus of this interview was heavily set on community and how Wooster values community. Day, who has worked solely as a staff member at the college, has understood the importance of building a campus community. This goes far beyond student life, but into faculty, staff, and student relations. In Day's case, community is getting harder to sustain, especially in our own life, because
The last 10 years, I would say I do not feel as much of a part of the campus because I think that business culture has changed the sense of community within the campus.
that business culture that she talks about is how small liberal arts schools like Wooster are getting more competitive.
The cost of running an institution of this size with the kind of programming we offer, the caliber of faculty we bring in, et cetera, is enormous. And unfortunately, the college has had to run more like a business.
Because that's what keeps Wooster viable and noticeable in a very competitive college market. What you lose, though, are relationships like this.
I can remember when my father would go golfing with the grounds crew, and I don't know if those kind of relations are fostered as much as they once were.
That doesn't mean there are not any types of relationships like that on campus. It's just Wooster doesn't make an active effort to foster those relationships anymore. So these observations Day has made in her 30-plus years at the college are not unsubstantiated. In our conversation, Day cited many key people who helped to foster community. In particular, former president of the college, Stan Hales.
I had a very tough experience in '95. My mother had a horrible accident, fell, hit her head, was in a coma, and it was very, very tough. She was in Columbus, Ohio. I was an hourly employee at the time. I am now salaried, so my benefits are different than hourly. And at that time in '95, I was very restricted in terms of, you work these hours, this is how much vacation you have, this is how much sick time. And I was in a horrible dilemma because I had to work this full-time job. My family needed the money. I didn't have the flexibility as an hourly employee. And here's my mother in the hospital in Columbus, Ohio, in a coma. They had been driving up from a vacation from Georgia, so they weren't even in their home state, my mother and father, and there's my dad trying to deal with all of this. And I just needed to get down and see my mother because this was life and death. And she actually was in a coma for 9 weeks and passed away, and that was truly a blessing because she would have not had she would have been a vegetable. But I remember the library director at the time was not really being very flexible about my time. And, but his hands were somewhat tied. And I think that wasn't because he didn't want to be flexible with my time. He had to follow protocol. These are human resources. These are federal regulations. There's only so much we can do. So Damon Hickey called Stan Hales to tell him there's this dilemma. Stan Hales got on the phone with me and said, Day, you are a part of this community, you are a part of this campus, and there are things that matter more than getting your job done and all of that. I am going to give you, this is from the president, flexibility, whatever you need to go see your mother. And I will never forget that. I will always be so grateful to him for that because I got to at least get down there 3 times a week to see my mom and on the weekends. And then she passed away. that's the kind of compassion and kindness that matters here in the college community, because we are a community, because we're all on the same mission. And that same mission is the person I'm looking at right now, you, the students. That's what matters here. And if we can't work as a collective and be there for everyone, we're no good for you. You know, in dining services, to the people that clean the dorms, it's really about the students. And all people need is a thank you now and then, good job now and then, recognition, and it goes a very, very, very long way. People don't really need to be recognized as, I mean, yes, money's nice, but really a thank you and good job goes a very long way. And you used to hear that all the time. You don't hear that as much now, and that might be indicative of our society. It might be what technology has brought with it, the broken communications, the lack of continuity in conversation. Everything's text. I know I'm going to sound like a really old person now, but I think there's something lost with the immediacy of everything. Our society goes at such a pace now. And it's hard to slow everything down because everything is so instant, and students expect that. And there's some things that get lost with that, and one of them is authentic communication.
This episode was written, edited, and produced by Sarah Torrio, Ronnie Wright, and myself. Special thanks to Day Logan and our advisors Richard Figge and Brett Woodard. Our music is from audioblocks.com, and we are supported and sponsored by the College of Wooster. Thanks for listening, and always, until next time.